All right, let's dive right in. This weekend's source is a high-octane betting guide for the weekend of February 7th and 8th, 2026, and it is absolutely packed with super confident, almost guaranteed sounding predictions. It's a goldmine for bettors and, just us footy heads. But reading it with all that certainty, it just made me wonder,
I mean, how can anyone just look at a whole weekend of football and make these really specific calls? A 3-0 here, a 3-1 there. What's the secret sauce? Well, it's not magic. And when you look closely at the source, you start to see there's a real method to the madness. There's a set of patterns that pop up again and again.
And that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to deconstruct this guide and pull out the 3 core patterns it uses for basically every single pick. Once you see them, the whole thing just clicks into place. So let's get into the first one.
Okay, first up, we've got a classic, the home fortress principle. This is all about those teams that are just, they're practically invincible when they're playing at their own ground, especially when a weaker team has to come and visit.
Now here's the key. A home fortress isn't just a team that's pretty good at home. No, we're talking about a dominant, usually title-contending club with a near-perfect home record. They turn their stadium into a place where away teams' dreams just fizzle out. And this guide really leans into that idea.
And the source actually gives us the perfect example. It uses this exact wording for Celtic. Celtic Park is a fortress. That's not just flavor text. That is the reason for the prediction. The logic is right there in the language. So let's see how this actually plays out in the picks.
Take a look at this. For Arsenal against Sunderland, the guide calls them title-hunting machines at the Emirates. And for Barcelona versus Mallorca, they're unstoppable at the Camp Nou. You see the pattern, right? It's not just that they're probably going to win. It's that they're expected to completely dominate because of where the game is being played.
And check this out. It's not just for the huge clubs in England and Spain. The guide uses the exact same logic for the new Saints in Wales, calling them runaway leaders at home. And of course, for Celtic in Scotland with that unbeatable home record. The principle is exactly the same. It doesn't matter what league you're in.
So we get the whole fortress thing, but what happens when one of these top teams has to leave their castle behind? Well, that brings us right to our second pattern, the clinical away giants. These are the powerhouses so good they don't even need home field advantage to get the win.
So think of it like this. The home fortress relies on the stadium, the fans, the whole atmosphere. But the clinical away giant? Nah. They rely on pure, ruthless superiority. They've got so much quality and depth, they don't need a fortress. They just bring the siege with them wherever they go.
And here are some perfect examples. The guide has Chelsea winning away at Wolves because of their attacking depth and defensive solidity. For Real Madrid playing at Valencia, the logic is that they're just ruthless against non-top sides. The key here is the huge mismatch in pure talent, which the guide believes is going to overpower any home advantage the other team might have.
And this pattern isn't just for predicting easy wins either. Just look at Inter Milan away at Sassuolo. The prediction is for a really tight 2-1 win. And the reasoning? Inter are a Serie A frontrunners, clinical away. So even in a tough fight, the guide is backing the better team's quality to just find a way to win on the road.
Okay, on to our third and final pattern. This one shifts gears a bit. We're moving away from who will win and focusing on how many goals we're going to see. This is the goal rush prediction. And the logic behind it is super simple and direct.
The magic number here is 2.5. If you're into betting, you know this one. Picking over 2.5 just means you think there will be 3 or more goals in the entire match, total. The guide uses this all the time as the go-to benchmark for games it thinks are about to explode with goals.
So how does the source spot a goal rush? Well, it's pretty much a simple 2-step recipe. Step 1. Find a team with what the guide calls a lethal or explosive attack. Step 2. Put them up against a team with a leaky defense, or one it describes as vulnerable at home. That's it. You mix a great offense with a weak defense and what do you get? Goals. Lots of them.
And you can see this exact formula play out all over the guide. Galatasaray are explosive on the road, playing a vulnerable Rizespor. PSV are described as goal machines going up against a Groningen side that leaks against top attacks. And of course, Bayern Munich, with their relentless firepower, facing a Hoffenheim with known defensive issues. It's the same simple equation every single time, and it leads to the same prediction, over 2.5 goals.
So, now that we get the 3 core patterns, the home fortress, the clinical away giant, and the goal rush, let's take another look at the guide's final tip sheet. This time, though, you'll be able to see the logic behind every single pick. Let's do a quick lightning round.
All right, for Saturday, you've got Arsenal as a home fortress, Chelsea as a clinical away giant. Then you have the new Saints and Barcelona, both classic home fortress picks. And finishing off the day, Celtic, our original fortress example. And on Sunday, it starts with a trio of goal rush predictions. Galatasaray, PSV, and Bayern Munich all fit that perfect formula. And it's followed up by two clinical away giants, Inter Milan getting a tight win and Real Madrid with a more comfortable one. See? It all fits. Which brings us to the big question, right? Are these true predictions in the sense of seeing the future, or is this just a really smart way to play the probabilities? The guide presents it all as confident forecasting, but underneath it all, it's about spotting patterns and playing the odds. And it kind of makes you wonder, when it comes to sports, is there really a difference?